Good evening. Before we begin, as is required with university functions of this size, I will read the university's emergency protocol statement. In an effort to ensure everyone's safety in case of an emergency, please take note of the 3 emergency exit locations here in the Betty Tipton room. Please note the closest emergency exit to your seating area, and remember that you do not have to exit through the same door in which you entered. To report an emergency, please dial 911. In the event of an emergency, please follow the instructions of emergency personnel and university officials at this event. Thank you. Good evening and welcome. And for those of you who are alumni, welcome back to Eastern Connecticut State University and the 26th Athletics Alumni Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I am Scott Smith, Chair of the Athletics Hall of Fame Committee, and on behalf of the committee, I would like to thank you for joining us as we honor and celebrate not only the history of the Eastern Connecticut Athletics program, but also recognize the current student athletes and their outstanding accomplishments, which have earned them the athletic department's major awards for the 2018-2019 academic year. Prior to the introduction of this year's Hall of Fame honorees, I would like to recognize the current members of the Hall of Fame and our past award recipients who have come back to be a part of this year's event. When announced, we ask each individual to please head towards the front of the Betty Tipton room, where they will form a receiving line to welcome our new honorees as part of our annual Hall of Fame entrance ceremony. Please join me in welcoming back our Pioneer Award recipient, Annie Noheimer Robinson. Our Michael Atkind Exceptional Service Award recipients, Jim LaMonaco, Laura Fellows-Butt, Dean Cinto, and our members of the Eastern Hall of Fame who have returned this afternoon, Scott Serwinski, Bonnie Edmondson, Joe Finaro, co-founder of the Hall of Fame, Bill Holowati, Chris Mock, Pat Murphy, co-founder of the Hall of Fame and the first committee chair, Joe Narotsky, Ron Pires, Len Reed, Beth Regan, Kathy Regan Pine, John Rabano, Tammy Schondelmeyer, Dan Swichenko, Cynthia Walls-Washburn, and Dr. David Yo. A round of applause, please, for our returning award recipients and members of the Athletics Alumni Hall of Fame. Induction into a Hall of Fame is the highest honor an institution can bestow upon any individual. Tonight, we are very pleased to be able to recognize 6 individuals who have achieved this ultimate honor. Our first honoree, who will be recognized for her induction into the Little East Conference Hall of Fame, being presented by Eastern Director of Athletics Lori Runksmeyer, 2016 Eastern Hall of Famer, Julia Dee Neilson. Next, we have the 5 members of the 26th induction class of the Eastern Athletics Alumni Hall of Fame. Our first inductee, being presented by men's soccer coach Greg DeVito, Kyle A. Bedini. Our second inductee, being presented by his Eastern teammate Brian Hebron, Mark A. Digiovanni. Our third inductee, being presented by women's soccer coach Christian D'Ambrosio, Jennifer M. Ferrari Heinz. Our fourth inductee, being presented by softball coach Diana Pepin, Molly E. Rothman. And our fifth inductee, being presented by his brother T Suse, Michael T Suse. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2019 honorees of the Athletics Alumni Hall of Fame. Right in front. Sure. And before we continue, I would like to say a big thank you to our Hall of Fame musician, Al Morano, who has been a fixture here at our Hall of Fame events for many, many years. Thank you very much, Al, for being with us once again. Thank you, honorees. Success, excellence, tradition. These are a few of the words that have come to define the athletic program here at Eastern Connecticut State University. The Hall of Fame was established in 1986 to recognize the achievements and contributions of the dedicated athletes, coaches, and administrators who have made a profound impact on the athletic program here at Eastern. Through the continuing support of the university's administration, the Division of Student Affairs, the ECSU Foundation, and the Alumni Association, the Hall of Fame Committee has had the privilege of honoring 197 individuals by way of the Pioneer Award, Atkind Exceptional Service Award, or with our highest honor, induction into the Athletics Alumni Hall of Fame. The next time you are in the Sports Center, please be sure to visit the Hall of Fame room, which is just a few steps down the hall from the main lobby. This room is utilized by members of the coaching staff as a vital meeting space with new recruits and their families, as well as current student athletes who are involved in their program. Permanently displayed on the walls of the Hall of Fame room are individual picture plaques representing all 144 Hall of Famers, as well as 2 perpetual plaques listing the names of all Pioneer Award and Michael Atkind Exceptional Service Award recipients. These displays will forever serve as a reminder of the proud history and tradition of Eastern athletics, and may help to inspire our future and current student athletes to one day have their own plaque hanging on those walls. Finally, once again, thank you for spending your evening with us and for your continued support of the Eastern Athletics program and the Athletics Alumni Hall of Fame. Always remember, once a warrior, always a warrior. Thank you. And now, to lead us through the remainder of our ceremony, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce our mistress of ceremonies for this evening, Eastern Hall of Famer, Dr. Bonnie Edmondson.
Good evening. Wow, what a marvelous occasion. And I can't help but have a warm heart every time I step back onto the campus here at Eastern. Smiling faces, hugs, handshakes. Welcome home, Bonnie. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard that, and I get to say that to folks as well. This Hall of Fame is truly one of the highlights of the year for me. And I'm very, very grateful for the warm receptions and the hugs and the open doors to always come back home. And what do they say? There's no place like home. President Nunez and Michael Stenko and Bullitt, no place like home. So in preparation for this evening's festivities, I was meeting with Scott and Bob in the Hall of Fame room, and Smitty, I think you said it very eloquently when you spoke about the what it means to walk into the Hall of Fame room. How many folks, by a show of hands, have actually stepped in there and seen the plaques? Great. So next year, we're hoping that every single one of those hands go up and that you come back and still keep coming back. But I walked over this afternoon and just walked in there and thought, wow, this is pretty darn cool. And to think of the legacy and the high educational and athletic and professional standards that have been set here at Eastern. The bar is incredibly high. And for anyone's name or picture or, to be honored in such a way is really an incredible feat. So congratulations. That legacy and spirit of sport shines brightly today, and we're here to celebrate the accomplishments and service of very talented individuals. Each honoree today has contributed to the legacy of Eastern. Through teamwork, dedication, and commitment, they've excelled in athletics and in life, and exhibit the qualities of true champions. Congratulations to the honorees, their families, friends, coaches, and significant others. As we know, it all takes a village, and everyone has contributed to the honorees' success. So enjoy every minute of your moments this evening. It is now my honor to introduce Dr. Elsa Nunez, President of Eastern Connecticut State University, to extend greetings. Welcome, President Nunez.
How wonderful it is to be here this evening. I look at my calendar at the beginning of the week or the week before, and I saw this event. Every time I see it on my calendar, it puts a big smile on my face. It is one of the largest alumni events that we have at Eastern, and I'm very, very honored to welcome you back to the campus. We, the university, builds our reputation on the backs of successful alumni. So congratulations to all the alumni who are out there making, doing great things, whether in your community, on your job, but it does make a huge difference in the reputation of the university, and thank you. Yesterday, I was here in the Student Center, and it was a celebratory event. We had what they called an ice cream social. I wanted to have liquor, but they wouldn't let me. It had to be ice cream sundaes. And what we were celebrating? U.S. News and World Report breaks the country into 4 quadrants. The North is not the Northeast. It goes from Canada down to Maryland, across to Pennsylvania. And it's the most saturated area of colleges and universities. If it was the South, there'd be fewer, but it's the North. And we compete, you know, as all the colleges and universities do. Some presidents don't like the rankings. When you don't do well, you usually don't like them. If you do well, you love the rankings. And yesterday we were celebrating that Eastern went up 13 points in U.S. News & World Report, making us one of the top 20 public universities in the North. So tonight we continue the celebration. I want to begin by thanking our athletic director, Lori Runksmeyer, and her team for putting on tonight's wonderful banquet. Lori's a wonderful asset to Eastern. It was one of the best appointments I've made here at Eastern, and we're very lucky to have her. I sit on the President's Council for the NCAA, and every time I go to a meeting, they say, "How's Lori? She did this, she did that. She has a national reputation." We're very lucky to have Lori here. And so the chair of the Hall of Fame committee, Scott Smith, Smitty, who is an asset to Eastern as well, who is so dedicated to the university, and he does his job so well, but he goes way beyond. It's in his blood, and we are really, really lucky to have him participating in all of the activities of Eastern. And he works very hard to select the honorees and to coordinate the evening's events. Finally, I want to thank Bonnie Edmondson, class of 1987, who I'm still mad at because now she's working at Southern, not at Eastern. But she has a great job there, and we're very proud of her for celebrating this event with us. And also, this is the 12th time she served as MC. Thank you, Bonnie. So we're here tonight, this evening, to recognize tonight's inductees. I think you will agree with me, as you look at the biographies, they're all on your table, that they're an impressive set of individuals. Kyle Bedini, Mark Digiovanni, Jennifer Heinz, Molly Rathbun, Mike Suse, and Julia Nelson were outstanding athletes here at Eastern. Some of them I got to know personally over time. And they really did excel in their individual sports. But more importantly, each of them brought great honor to the entire university community during the time they were here. Congratulations to each of you. Since graduating, all of the inductees have gone on to successful careers and today are outstanding citizens in their communities and leaders with their own families. These outstanding Eastern alums join an illustrious group since 1986. We have inducted 143 members into the Eastern Hall of Fame. In addition to our outstanding alumni, we will also be honoring a number of our current student athletes, and they make us very, very proud, including Anna Barry, Morgan Baldock, Haley Broder, Ryan Escoda, Carlos Gonzalez, and Matt Malcolm. Let's give them a round of applause, because these students are the epitome of what we want at Eastern. They're outstanding student athletes and also student scholars. We hold this annual event for many reasons. First and foremost, we want to recognize members of the Eastern family who were outstanding athletes on our campus, alumni who deserve recognition. We also come together tonight to see old friends and reconnect with each other as members of the Warrior Nation. And when you see today's students, all of them in the Hall of Fame room, which Smitty mentioned is in the Sports Center, and you should go there to look at all the plaques and all the people that we honor. They are motivated and inspired to work harder on the playing field and off. Even as we look back over 23 years of the Hall of Fame inductee ceremonies at Eastern, I want to reflect on the broad impact that our athletic program has had on the campus today in 2019. It's not just about the games that they play, it's about the long-lasting impact that they have year after year. Our student athletes exemplify excellence on the field and good citizenship off the field. This was true when our women's basketball team won their league championship in 1898, and during the 9 national championship years our softball and baseball teams have enjoyed since. And I am convinced Our best years are yet to come. And let me, before I give a few highlights of what has happened here at Eastern this year, I want the coaches to stand, because I want to tell you that our coaches are among the best coaches in the country. They're not just a coach. They're mentors, they're friends, they're confidants, they're advisors, they're counselors. They do everything to get the students through successfully in 4 years in the games that they play, but also in the classroom. So please, coaches, stand so we can say thank you to each of you. I don't know if anybody knows, but we're starting a golf team. And I saw the person that's recruiting the students for the golf team, and I said, I hope they're all full-pay students. He said, yes, Elsa, they are full-pay students. So let's talk about excellence on the field. Eastern won the Little East Conference Commissioners' Cup for the 3rd year in a row for having the best athletic performance among the conference 9 schools. This is despite the fact Eastern fields no teams in 2 varsity sports. It was amazing to get the 3rd year award. In 1819, the Warriors won conference regular season or tournament championships in men's soccer, women's soccer, softball, men's basketball, women's basketball, and women's volleyball. 11 individuals won the LEC Award, Player, Rookie, or Coach of the Year Award, and 112 were named to the Little East Conference teams, all teams. Academic excellence. Continuing 11-year streak, the women's swimming team again received National Scholar All-American status from the Collegiate Swimming and Diving Coaches Association of America. 11 years in a row, they stand to be the top scholars and also swim in this country. The men's and women's soccer teams also received academic awards from the United Soccer Coaches Association. Good citizens. The Hall of Fame honorees today, as well as many Hall of Fame members in the audience and other members of the Eastern family present, can think of their own contributions to our local community, and that's a tradition at Eastern. The coaches really, really instill that value into all of the athletes, that they should give back to the community. You will see our student athletes at the Penguin Plunge raising money for the Covenant Soup Kitchen for poor people who don't have a meal. The students raise thousands and thousands of dollars every year. They can be seen at the Relay for Life on behalf of the American Cancer Society. They show up at the annual Wyndham Swim Meet for Special Olympics. Just yesterday, you would have seen them running around campus as they participate in the annual marathon to fight poverty and hunger that Professor Chatterton hosts. And in the case of men's soccer, they took on a cause, bone marrow transplant for cancer patients, and have gained national recognition for their steadfast support of people who have cancer in their bones. This past year, they received an Ethics and Sportsmanship Award from the United States Soccer Coaches for that special work. One of the nation's best, the softball team, already owner of 5 national titles, came close again in 19 as it defeated the top 2 seeded teams in the National Division III softball tournament before finishing 3rd in the United States. Softball standout Morgan Bulldog, class of 21, became Eastern's 144th All-American as she led the Warriors to the national semifinals. So I say to everyone here this morning that this president is very proud. I'm proud because Eastern Athletics has a time-honored commitment to excellence that continues to this day and will continue long, long into the future. Our student athletes are simply the best on the field and in the classroom and in our local community. I'm so very proud of our students today and equally proud of the alumni athletes in the room. You have brought great honor to Eastern, your university, and it is a pleasure to honor you this evening. In the tradition, I'm going to count to 3, and we're going to scream to the top of our lungs, "Go Warriors." 1, 2, 3, go Warriors! Thank you.
Thank you, President Nunez. in like a blur, we have a very integral member of our Eastern community here to join us. And Father Larry Lapointe has such an incredibly positive and calming impact on the campus, and just a friend to so many and confidant to so many. And how lucky are we to have him this evening to offer the invocation. Father Larry?
I thought they invited me because in 1977 I retired from coaching golf and retired with the highest lifetime coaching record of any coach in the Maryland Scholastic Association, because I coached for only 2 years and I inherited a great team. So there's a lot of luck involved, I think, in that. I've been thinking over the past few days, anticipating this wonderful annual event, of how the campus has changed. Have you noticed that? Isn't it gorgeous? It's amazing. And the playing fields are also well maintained. Of course, it didn't hurt to have more rain than Noah had to make everything green. But everything looks great. The students look like they're 12. Don't they? Are we getting old? What is that? But I can't help but think of what the honorees and what so many of our alums looked like when they were here. I think for many of them, especially for those that we haven't seen for a while, we still think of them as being in their early 20s. And even when we're confronted by their mature reality, we still in our hearts, I think, hold them as they were when they graduated. There is something timeless about Eastern. It has been here for a long time, and although it has changed in many ways, and so have we, there is something timeless about events like this that reach back into the past and draw past triumphs and challenges into the present to nourish us as much as the wonderful food that we have at our tables, that nourish our spirits and our hopes. We cannot help but remember at a time like this those who have gone before us. And there is a melancholy that is a part of this day as well. But it is a glorious day. The weather has collaborated with us, unlike the year when we had snow for this event. The weather is as glorious, I think, as our spirits. And so we pause for a moment of silent reflection, remembering that we represent many different religious traditions and philosophical perspectives and viewpoints, and that words often separate us. But in silence and in reflection, in gratitude and in reminiscence, there is a bond that is deeper than anything that could separate us. So we pause together in that same spirit to remember and to hope. Amen.
Thanks again, Father Larry, for all you bring and all you mean to the Eastern community. Next, I would like to welcome to the podium our director, our infamous director of Alumni Affairs, Mr. Michael Stenko.
Good evening. Yeah, I looked at the program and I said, oh, I'm going after President Nunez. Yay. because it's tough to go after President Nunez. But instead, I'm going after Father Larry, which is even harder. What a great night for Eastern, and I'm so happy to welcome all of you on behalf of the Office of Alumni Affairs and the Office of Institutional Advancement. This is truly a great evening. I also want to offer my congratulations to all of the inductees tonight and tell you how proud we are of all you've accomplished, not only as Eastern student athletes, but in the exemplary lives and careers, both personal and professional, that you have carved out since you left campus. I also wish to extend a warm welcome to all of the alumni who are here tonight, all the teammates and friends who have joined you. Each day I'm reminded of the power of intercollegiate athletics to transform lives. And those of us who are fortunate enough to work on this campus get to see it every day as we see our student athletes mature and grow and then come back and just shine. And we are so proud of them. So to all of the alumni who are here tonight, I want you to take a moment, close your eyes, and picture your own transformation, how this institution changed you, what this institution meant to you, what Eastern meant to your lives. The moments you shared with coaches, teammates, professors, friends, and family have made each of you who you are today. Hold on to these moments. Hold on to the people who created them with you. Hold on to the memories of those who can't be here. And honor them by paying it forward to the next generation of men and women who come to Eastern to grow and learn and thrive and compete. Help your business create internships for our students that give them an edge in the job market. Encourage your organization to recruit and hire our students when they graduate. Make a monthly gift on your credit card to your sport so our coaches have more to work with when it comes time to plan the next holiday tournament or spring break trip. They need that support, and who better than our alumni to give it to them? Eastern still transforms the lives of our student athletes, and it's still very much a team effort, just as it was when you were here. So thank you for being a part of it. Enjoy tonight's celebration. Thank you. Now, I have a second role to play here tonight. Each spring, the Education Department and the Kinesiology and Physical Education Department present awards to Eastern alumni for professional achievement. When the 6th Annual Education Awards were given out last April, one of the honorees was unable to be present, but she's here tonight. So at this time, I'd like to call on 2002 Hall of Fame inductee Dr. Dan Swachenko to make a special presentation to a very special Eastern alum.
Thanks, Mike. We all know who that special individual is. She's sitting right over there, Bonnie Edmondson. First of all, to all of the inductees, congratulations. You've brought tremendous honor and tremendous pride to not only the institution, but our athletic program. You're now a member of a very elite fraternity. You've proven to be a winner, and you've proven to be a fierce competitor. It's great to be a member of that particular fraternity. Bonnie, I've been teaching and coaching at the university level now for 44 years, the last 39 here at Eastern Connecticut State University. I've estimated, when including summer and intersession classes, that I've taught 8,000 students. And you, of course, were one of those students in the 1980s. None of them, not one, has achieved in sport what you've achieved. Head USA track and field coach. What an unbelievable accomplishment. What an unbelievable achievement. Bonnie received her BA in 1987 from Eastern. She has a master's degree in school health education from Southern and a doctorate in educational leadership from the University of Hartford. When Bonnie was here at Eastern, she was a two-sport student athlete. That is very, very atypical. Very, very few of our student athletes are able to combine what's required in the classroom and compete in two sports. She gained All-American honors in track and field in the discus. She finished second in 1985 and fourth in 1987. What makes that achievement so special, Eastern didn't have a track at that time. Eastern didn't have a track. For an individual to achieve All-American status, not having a track is just truly unique. After graduation, she won 2 USA track and field national titles in the hammer throw, first in 1990 and then again in 91. In 92, she placed third at the Olympic trials. 2 years later, in 1994, she missed making the United States Olympic team by 1 spot. Bonnie has taught physical education, health, and English in the state technical system for 10 years. She was named System Teacher of the Year on one occasion. She has spent 20 years as program manager and educational consultant in school health education in the State Department of Education. And since 2017, she's been an associate professor and educational consultant for the School of Health Education at Southern Connecticut State University. Bonnie has 24 publications in a variety of journals and textbooks. She's written 6 successful grants in the amount of $7,530,000. She has given countless presentations across the country. Bonnie is a member of our Eastern Athletic Hall of Fame. She's also a member of the Connecticut Women's Hall of Fame, and she was selected as one of the outstanding athletes of the century by the Hartford Courant. Winner of the 2019 Outstanding Kinesiology and Physical Education Professional Award, Dr. Bonnie Edmondson.
Wow, I have to speak after that. Thank you, Coach. I really appreciate it. And I'm very, very humbled and honored to receive that award. And knowing that the folks that have come through that program makes it even more special because of the quality and the standards of the KPE program. I just want to say a couple words in the profession, if you will, that there's nothing more important than the student's health and well-being. We all have experienced that if a child is not mentally, physically, emotionally healthy, they're not ready to learn and cannot learn to the best of their ability. Therefore, meeting the needs of the whole child is absolutely essential, and quality health education and quality physical education are major core tenets and foundational to the success of our children. And I really believe that as a professional in the health education field, that we need to be better advocates. Families need to be better advocates. professionals need to be better advocates for the importance of those programs because they're often the first programs to get cut. And once those programs get cut, the basic needs of our students are not, and our children are not being met. So I challenge each and every one of you to go back to your districts, to go back to your towns, and find out. They should be getting quality health education K through 12 and physical education K through 12 every year. And we all want the best for our young children here. We've got some right in the front. And it's up to us to be those kind of advocates. As I reflect on my career, I'm very fortunate to have had such fulfilling experiences in both education and athletics. Being around the best in the world, it doesn't get any better. It's a magical experience. And seeing the world on other people's dimes, I would highly recommend it. And I just returned from Doha, Qatar, which is in the Persian Gulf, about 10 days ago. And as Dan mentioned, I was the head coach for the women's World Track and Field Championships team. And living in the moment is really important. And taking a step back and grasping the enormity of what can happen if you put your heart and soul towards it. And so I challenge you to do that and follow your passions and make your dreams come true. You know, and they're not necessarily, you've got to have a vision and a growth mindset. And where is it that you want to go and how are you going to make it happen? So I've been very, very fortunate to have the support systems that would allow me those opportunities. So thanks again. I really appreciate it. All right, back to the show here. Before we begin the celebration of our honorees this evening, I'd like to recognize and showcase a very special group of individuals. Through the generosity of institutional advancement, we have in attendance student athletes representing 15 intercollegiate athletic teams at Eastern. The spirit of the Hall of Fame is to recognize extraordinary accomplishments of outstanding role models. In addition, it is about learning and respecting the history and tradition of the Hall of Fame while cultivating new opportunities for future student athletes. We're so pleased that you're here tonight to represent your respective sports and hope you share this awesome experience with your teammates. Please stand and remain standing as I call your names. Baseball senior from Tappan, New York, John Misagno. Men's basketball senior from Berlin, Connecticut, Jake McCarthy. Women's basketball senior from Cromwell, Maya Villard. Field hockey junior from Brantford, Kira Integlia. Men's lacrosse senior from Clinton, Anthony Sharanzi. Women's lacrosse senior from Windsor, Tristan Kijak. Men's soccer sophomore from East Hartford, Patrick Ajaman. Women's soccer senior from Middletown, Leanna Rich. Softball senior from North Branford, Sabrina Lemire. Women's swimming junior, women's swimming junior from Vernon, Tegan Rushmeyer. Men's track and field senior from Colchester, Jade Wright. Women's track and field senior from New Britain, Ariane Brown. And women's volleyball senior from Andover, Mackenzie Managia. Men's and women's cross-country representatives are currently at a meet at Suffolk in the Boston area. So they're not able to be here this evening, but I wanted to make sure that those folks were recognized. So ladies and gentlemen, this is our future right here. Congratulations, you may be seated. Unless you want to stand, that's okay too, but. And now we move on to the recognition of the student athletes who were selected to receive the Athletic Department Major Awards for the 2018-2019 academic year. It is now my pleasure to introduce and invite Eastern Connecticut State University Director of Athletics, Lori Runksmeyer, to join me in presenting these awards. Lori? To celebrate these accomplishments, we will have a brief video overview of the awardee. Our first award is the Team Sport Female Rookie of the Year.
As a first-year collegiate athlete, Anna Berry played on not one, but two Little East Conference championship teams en route to honors as last year's Team Sport Female Rookie of the Year. A 6-foot middle hitter in volleyball and forward in basketball, Anna was named Little East Rookie of the Year, first team All-LAC, and LAC Tournament MVP in volleyball, and scored the clinching basket in Eastern's overtime upset of top-seeded UMass Dartmouth in the LAC basketball championship game on the Corsairs' home floor. Anna's excellence in two sports was recognized when she was named to the New England All-Rookie team in both sports. In helping the Warriors to their first LAC volleyball championship in 11 years, Anna's tournament MVP statistics in two matches included 28 kills and a .533 attack percentage. In the LAC overtime basketball win at UMass Dartmouth, Anna had a career-high 18 points and added 10 rebounds, 4 blocks, and 3 steals. Congratulations, Anna Berry.
And congratulations, Anna Berry. Come on up and get your award, please. Is Anna here? Oh, okay. I'm blinded by the light here, but here you go. Come on down. Our second award is the Team Sport Female Athlete of the Year.
As a sophomore, Morgan Bolduc was remarkable. Her season accomplishments in line with those of the program's notable All-America and Eastern Hall of Fame pitchers. In her first season in 2018, she was named the Little East and Eastern's Rookie of the Year. This past year, she led the Warriors to the Little East Regional and Super Regional Championships and a berth in the national tournament. A right-handed pitcher, she was named third team All-America, first team All-Region, Little East Tournament, Regional Tournament, and Super Regional Tournament MVP, and to the National Tournament All-Tournament Team en route to earning this year's Team Sport Female Athlete of the Year award. Morgan started all 13 Little East and NCAA tournament games this past spring with 12 complete games, 6 shutouts, and a 1.33 ERA. On the season, she won 22 of 25 decisions with a 1.21 ERA and an average of only 1 walk per game. Congratulations, Morgan Bolduc.
Accepting on behalf of Morgan, who is in the middle of her Army training, are her parents, Mike and Heidi Bolduc. Please come forward. Our third award is the Individual Sport Athlete of the Year.
Haley Broder enjoyed an accomplished cross-country, indoor and outdoor track season as a junior in 2018 and 19, but built the foundation for her success the previous summer with strenuous daily 3-hour workouts that included lifting weights, sprinting and distance running, swimming, and power yoga. Upon returning in the fall, the Old Saybrook native says that she continued to improve her stamina, endurance, and flexibility thanks to Jay Mendoza, Eastern's former strength and conditioning coach. In the outdoor 400 meters last spring, Haley finished first 3 times and second once in 4 regular season meets, then captured the Little East title at that distance in late April, and a week later earned all New England honors by running the second fastest 400 in program history with a time of 57:37. that earned her 6th place in the championship and left her just 0.06 of a second shy of qualifying for the NCAA Division III National Championship. Her 57.37 was also less than a second off the 36-year-old program record set by Judy Pemberton at the 1983 National Championships. Congratulations, Haley.
Welcome Haley to receive her award. When you're going to take a photo, can you step over there? I will. I'll get it. Great. Congratulations. Our fourth award is the Individual Sport Rookie of the Year.
The team's #1 finisher in every cross-country race last fall was just a prelude of things to come for Individual Sport Rookie of the Year Ryan Escoda, who followed that up as the Little East Rookie Track Athlete of the Year in both indoor and outdoor competition. In just his 4th collegiate cross-country race last September, Ryan outlasted a field of 64 competitors in winning the Tri-State Invitational and wrapped up the cross-country season by placing among the top 20% at the New England Championships. Ryan was named the program's first ever Little East Men's Rookie Track Athlete of the Year indoors last February, and in May became Eastern's first Men's Rookie Track Athlete of the Year outdoors. In between, Ryan broke the program's 10-year-old outdoor record in the 3,000 steeplechase with a first-place finish at Southern New Hampshire, established a PR indoors at 3,000 meters at the New England Indoor Championships, and qualified for the 3,000 steeplechase at the New England Outdoor Meet. Congratulations, Ryan Escoda.
And Ryan and his coaches are still up at Suffolk University competing, so we certainly wish them all the best. So our 5th award is the Team Sport Male Athlete of the Year.
It proved to be another memorable season for junior point guard Carlos Gonzalez, who led the Warriors to their 6th straight Little East regular season title and repeating as first-team All-Little East pick and Little East Conference Defensive Player of the Year. For this, he has been selected as Eastern's Team Sport Male Athlete of the Year, 2 seasons after being voted as our Team Sport Rookie of the Year. In sparking the Warriors to 20 wins for the 9th time in the last 10 years, Carlos topped the Little East in steals per game, and assists, while also leading his team in points per game, assists, steals, and free throws made. His performance this year earned him 3rd team All-New England Region honors from D3Hoops.com. He was a 2-time Little East Player of the Week. It was named to the D3Hoops.com National Team of the Week after averaging 22 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals, while sinking 12 of 13 free throws in 4 games. Carlos Gonzalez also passed Rich Vega to become Eastern's all-time steals leader earlier this year, with 249 career steals. Congratulations, Carlos.
Carlos, please come forward and receive your award. Our 6th and final award is the Team Sport Male Rookie of the Year.
Catcher Matt Malcolm had a season unlike many rookies, becoming Eastern's first true freshman in 8 years to be named to the All-Little East baseball team, and only the program's first LEC Rookie of the Year since 2012. In addition, Matt was recognized by D3Baseball.com as its New England Rookie of the Year and as a second-team All-Region selection. This past spring, Matt opened the Northern season with 4 hits that raised his batting average to .433 and began his home career by driving in 5 runs in a Little East doubleheader. The team's starting catcher in 36 of 41 games and the team's cleanup hitter in 20, Matt led the team in 6 individual categories and was second in 2, including batting average and hits. He also led the team in multiple hit games, consecutive games reaching base, and also shared the team lead in multiple RBI games. Congratulations, Matt Malcolm.
Matt, please come forward to receive your award. All right, one last round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Excellent, excellent. And now the presentation of the Little East Conference Hall of Fame Award. Traditionally, the Little East Conference holds its own Hall of Fame ceremony. However, this year, the Little East has changed its approach and has allowed each institution to honor their own Little East Hall of Fame inductee. We've got one fan on that one. Therefore, it seems perfectly fitting that Eastern has chosen to recognize and honor this individual tonight. Let's watch and hear about her outstanding accomplishments.
Julia Neilson is the 7th member of the Eastern Connecticut State University athletic community, only the 4th student athlete to gain induction into the Little East Conference Hall of Fame as the conference celebrates its 6th induction class in 2019. Julia made an immediate impact in both soccer and softball in the Little East Conference as a freshman in 1998-1999, leading the Eastern soccer team in scoring and the softball team in hitting en route to becoming Eastern's first Little East Rookie of the Year in either sport. She became the first of only 2 individuals in Little East history to earn Rookie of the Year honors in those 2 sports in their careers. In a 4-year soccer and softball career, the 2016 Eastern Alumni Hall of Famer earned all Little East honors 3 times in each sport, gaining first-team recognition twice in each sport. During a transitional period in both Eastern programs, Julia provided consistency and reliability by starting 218 of the 219 games in which she appeared in her 2-sport career. The 2-time softball team captain and switch-hitting center fielder played every game in 3 of 4 softball seasons and missed only 1 of a possible 72 matches in her high-scoring soccer career. In soccer, in the fall of 1998, Julia was the only freshman named to the All-Little East team, earning first-team recognition when she was tied for 3rd in the conference in goals with 10 and with 24 points, which ranked her 5th. That year, she became the program's first freshman to lead the Warriors in scoring in 10 years. She was named Little East Player of the Week early in the season when she had 2 goals, including an overtime game winner, and added an assist in 2 wins. And she was also named to the Little East Weekly Honor Roll twice thereafter that season. That fall, she was a 2nd-team NSCAA All-Metro Region selection, one of only 3 freshmen named to that team, with the other 2 freshmen earning 3rd-team honors. In the spring of her freshman year, Julia was again the only freshman to earn first-team All-Little East honors in softball, and was one of only 2 freshman selections on either the first or second team. Julia finished 7th in the conference with a .393 batting average that year and led the conference with 28 stolen bases, and was among the top 10 in hits. She was named first team NFCA All-Northeast Region and second team All-ECAC. As a freshman in soccer, Julia tied the program record in her first game by scoring 4 goals and went on to second team All-Metro Region honors that season after leading the Warriors in goals and points. In addition to her athletic accomplishments, Julia qualified for an Eastern Scholar Athlete Award as a senior, and as a junior received the Holly E. Zimmerman Memorial Award, which recognizes the qualities of academic determination, sincerity, thoughtfulness, and industriousness.
Hello, my name is Pam Samuelson. As Commissioner of the Little East Conference, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Eastern Connecticut State University's Julia Neilson into the Little East Conference Hall of Fame. Julia is a member of the 6th induction class of the LEC Hall of Fame, an honor that has been bestowed on just 69 individuals in our 32-year history. This year, Julia becomes the 4th former Eastern Connecticut student athlete and 7th member of the Eastern athletic community in all to be honored with this induction. Beginning with this year's induction, we've decided to allow each conference institution to honor its Little East Hall of Fame selection in its own special way. For Julia, it will be the second time in 4 years that she'll be honored in this room, following her induction into the Eastern Athletic Alumni Hall of Fame in 2016. Julia had a truly memorable career as a 3-time All-Little East selection in 2 sports, soccer and softball, and holds the distinction of being one of only 2 student athletes in LEC history to be named Rookie of the Year in each of these sports. She was on the field for a significant Little East Conference milestone as a sophomore, playing in the first ever Little East Women's Soccer Championship Tournament. Above and beyond her significant athletic accomplishments, Julia represented her university and the conference as a true student athlete, dedicated to the Little East Conference ideals of sportsmanship, integrity, and fair play. In addition to her successes on the soccer pitch and softball field, Julia was an Eastern Scholar All-Athlete Award recipient and earned the university's prestigious Holly E. Zimmerman Memorial Award in recognition of her qualities of academic determination, sincerity, and thoughtfulness.
Julia came in from a small high school, small town, and even though she was the MVP and All-State in a couple of sports in high school, I don't think people thought she was going to have the impact that she had at Eastern. To come in right away, Little East Rookie of the Year in 2 sports, lead the team in hitting as a freshman, lead the soccer team in scoring as a freshman are just unbelievable things.
She made it look easy, and I think that's what softball is. If you can have fun, make it look easy, and get a win at the end of the day, that's what it's about. She kept it light, she kept it fun, and she was good. Her stats and those are numbers, but what made her great is the type of teammate she was.
I remember going to fall ball and just the buzz around the sports center about this new dynamic freshman on the soccer team, and everybody needed to go see her. So, as a team, we went to see a soccer game, and we were just blown away by her. And then come our traditional season in the spring, there's all this buzz about this new freshman on the softball team, and we went to a softball game, and lo and behold, it was her again.
She could compete, when we were tied or when we were down a little bit, we also, Julia knew her job, and that was, she gets on or I get on, and we score one another, and we were ready to do that.
Her best quality was her speed, and she used her speed to the best advantages. In soccer, she'd get the ball and she would go to goal. And when she got a breakaway, when she got a step on a defender, she could finish as well. In softball, she was a left-handed hitter who just slapped the ball. And back then, when she played, slapping was a huge part of the game.
She's a good ball player. She could hit the ball, she could drive the ball. She definitely could run when she got on base. I think that's what established our relationship, is because we were both outfielders, so we both take fly balls together. We'd probably both bat at the same time, and obviously we'd, both have to do running drills at the same time. Julie and I became fast friends really quickly, and she's the type of friend, as I know through the years, that she'll stick up for you. She backed me, not only on the field but in real life. So it was a great experience just playing out there with her, and obviously post play, our friendship through the years.
Sometimes when I think of athletes that came through here, especially the good ones, initially I think of their playing ability. But with Julia, I really thought more about her personal qualities than her on-field abilities, which were very extensive.
At this time, it is my great honor to present for induction into the Little East Conference Hall of Fame from Eastern Connecticut State University, Julia Dee Neilson.
Let's welcome Julia to the podium. Conference Hall of Fame. Yep, come on up. Do you want to say some words?
Thank you for this honor in being inducted into the Little East Conference Hall of Fame. When I was notified, I was definitely surprised. Thank you for the members that nominated me. Of course, I want to thank my coaches for believing in me, for continuing to push me year after year. The lessons I've learned about teamwork, perseverance, and hard work have been a pivotal part of my life. I would like to make a special thanks to my teammates. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. A couple are here. As a shy freshman, I was able to create friendships that have continued to this day. If it wasn't for them pushing me to be a better player, I wouldn't be standing here. None of my success would have been my experience without my family in my corner. If it wasn't for me driving around the state for practices and tournaments, I wouldn't be here. Pushing me to be a better player and having confidence in me. Again, thank you, Little East Conference, for this honor today.
Congratulations, Julia. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to begin the presentation of the 2019 Eastern Connecticut State University Athletic Hall of Fame inductees.
Kyle Abedini was a 3-year starter on defense who played on the program's first ever conference playoff championship team as a junior and earned second-team All-America recognition as a senior. The first men's soccer player from the 21st century to earn Alumni Hall of Fame induction, Kyle was a starter in all but one match in which he appeared over his final 3 seasons, helping limit opponents to an average of less than 1 goal per match. As a junior in the fall of 2007, Kyle started all 19 matches in which he appeared, averaging a career-high 87 minutes. Under first-year head coach Greg DeVito that season, Eastern won its first Little East regular season crown in 15 years and its first Little East playoff title ever. As a senior co-captain in 2008 on a team coming off its first NCAA tournament berth, Kyle started 21 games as the Warriors assembled a 14-game unbeaten streak on the way to their winningest season in 39 years. Kyle's stellar 4-year career was rewarded exactly 1 month to the day of his final game in an Eastern uniform upon the announcement of his selection as only the second All-America in the first 49 years of the program.
It is my pleasure to welcome Kyle Bedini to the Eastern Athletics Alumni Hall of Fame. Kyle is someone for whom I have the utmost respect for as a person and friend. Since graduating, he has been a very active alumnus, supporting many of our events, whether it be attending matches, coming to alumni games, participating in golf tournaments, or coming to the end of the year banquets. However, it is his achievements in his 4 years in our soccer program which make him very deserving of this recognition that we are celebrating today. Without a doubt, Kyle left the program in a better place than where he found it, and he was intentional about doing so. That's what makes Kyle who he is, always looking out for others, holding people accountable, including myself, challenging himself and his teammates, as well as myself, to always be better. He was never afraid to speak his mind. Kyle is a person of great integrity. If he says he's going to do something, you know it's going to get done. He came to Eastern at a time when the program was struggling on and off the field. He and many of his teammates in this room today were responsible for restoring success on the field to our historic soccer program. Kyle was part of 4 winning seasons. In his junior year, we won our first Little East regular season championship in 15 years and went on to win our first ever Little East tournament championship and make our first ever NCAA tournament appearance. Who could forget the penalty kick that he took in that match against Keene State? As a senior, he led the team to a program record 15 wins and the top seed in the ECAC New England tournament. Kyle was a massive defender and is even more massive these days as fitness and nutrition are a big part of his life. There were several times over the years when I thought he was going to rip someone apart with his bare hands during a game, but he refrained because he knew how important it was to keep his cool. One of these times that stands out was during an extremely emotional game that was back and forth at Salem State during Kyle's senior year. Someone spit right on him. Literally. At this point, I'm thinking he could legitimately kill this person and get a red card. But luckily he held it together and we were able to earn a hard-fought point on the road. Winning that game would have been very difficult to do if Kyle had gotten a red card and we were having to bail him out of jail for attempted murder. There was also the infamous race against his brother Rob after a training session in his freshman year. Both being ultra-competitive, they agreed to a 75-yard sprint across the field. Now I'm old, so that distance could have been more or less, but I just remember seeing it out of the corner of my eye, and the next thing I remember is some sort of loud scream and Kyle busting up his leg. But as legend would have it to this day, he did win that race. Rob would probably beg to differ. Who could forget the time that 2 stubborn Italians, Kyle and Matt Esposito, were jawing at each other in training? Bedini, the senior captain, and Esposito, the freshman. That is, until the impatient Italian coach, me, had had enough and made the entire team run so that they would stop talking. Those 2 still love to tell that story to this day.
I've known him for, what's crazy is 27 years. Played on every single sports team, lived with him all 4 years in college, played soccer with him all 4 years of college, and he is way more than a teammate to me. He's family, he's a brother.
I attribute a lot of my success to Kyle. I played forward, he played defense. Every day in practice, we just battled and we had our matchup, and it kind of turned into this very competitive practice atmosphere. We're both competitive people. Our work rates are both very high. We wanted to get the best of the other person.
He is one of the most competitive people I know, but being competitive is one thing, being able to actually execute and walk the walk is another, and he defines that.
All we did when Kyle got the ball at his feet, I knew, we looked at each other, and that's all it took. He would play this perfect ball over the top, right into the space I was running.
Kyle's strengths as a player were definitely reading the game. He made everything look very easy. There's times where it just looks like he's cruising through a game with absolutely no effort, but it's just because mentally he's quicker than everybody else on the field. He is always in the right position, doing the right thing.
I don't care how quick you are, I don't care what kind of moves you have, you're not getting by him. He was able to identify your weakness immediately, and he would just make sure he's going to find that the entire game.
He was the complete, well-rounded defender. I can think of 4 things. So, first of all, his size. He was so strong. Kyle is one of the strongest players in the field. his speed. He was much faster than he looked. He was very fast and could even match my pace, which made it very frustrating for myself when I was talking about those practice situations. So you have size, you have speed. His soccer IQ, he was one of the most intelligent players on the field. He knew what he needed to do with the ball at all times, and that brings me to my last well-rounded piece. He was so technical with the ball. He was so good with the ball at his feet, and he just had that confidence to do all those four things at all times.
He's got a magnetic demeanor to himself. You know, people listen to him because what he's doing is always calculated, and it's a really good suggestion most times.
Kyle had to be vocal with these freshmen to kind of get the best out of them, to make them understand, what the culture of our program is and what we've been building over the year.
I wasn't surprised when I got the notification that I became All-American. I actually remember when he told me, and I remember just giving him a hug because, everything he's done for, at that point, it was, 21 years. He knew how to pave the path for success.
When Kyle was, got his All-American selection his senior year, nobody in the program was surprised. We knew the ability Kyle had. We knew how meaningful he was to our team and the success the program had, the things that he did behind the scene of the program as well. So it was never in doubt with anybody within our program that Kyle was an All-American.
At this time, it is with great pleasure that I present for induction into the Eastern Athletics Hall of Fame, Kyle A. Bedini.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium Kyle A. Bedini, presented by men's soccer coach Greg DeVito.
It's a little bright up here. First things, what an honor. Just a few thank yous to get through. First, I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee, Scott Smith, Bob Molta, better known as Bullet, for their help in organizing this wonderful event. I want to thank all of the Eastern men's soccer players and coaches before me who helped build the program to what it was in 2005 when I joined. I want to say thanks to my teammates, a bunch who showed up today, a few of which I see in the crowd and who I'm lucky enough to call my friends to this day. You guys are awesome. I want to thank my wonderful fiancée Marissa and her amazing family for being here supporting me today, as well as my godparents, aunt, uncle, cousins, my brother and sister-in-law for their constant love and support in anything I do. I want to also thank my coaches during my time, Franz Innocent, Adam Faya, and Greg DeVito. What Greg and Adam have done for this program over the past 12 years cannot be overlooked or underestimated. I was beyond lucky to call them my coaches, and today also my friends. I want to especially thank two very special people in the audience tonight, my parents, Ken and Bev, both Eastern graduates, with my father actually working here for 40 years in numerous roles after graduation. This was a big reason why I came to Eastern in the first place. To you guys, thank you for both instilling in me that hard work does pay off. If you put your mind to it, do the work, go out and get it. Anything is achievable. I love you both, and I'm extremely happy to have you guys here today. I also want to congratulate the other inductees, Mark, Jen, Molly, and Mike. Reading your stories, viewing your accolades, certainly humbling to be part of such a talented group. As a kid, I never thought I was the most talented soccer player, and I tell people that a lot. Jimmy, my lifelong friend, can probably attest. I played a lot of sports growing up, always competing with my older brother. Until about age 14, I would say soccer was probably my least favorite. It wasn't even until the spring of my senior year, which was 4 months after my varsity season, that I decided to play college soccer at Eastern. I think part of the reason was having an older brother on the team who was going to be a senior that year. It gave me the opportunity to play 1 year with him, which we had never done before. One quick story, and then I'll wrap it up. My teammates will remember this. So one moment I'll never forget. We're playing a spring game against the University of Hartford, which is a Division I team. After the game, I think we lost 1-0, but we had been roughed up. It could have been worse. Franz Innocent pulled me aside, who unbeknownst to me would be coaching his last game at the collegiate level that night. And he pulled me aside and said, "Kyle, you have the ability to be one of the greatest players this program has ever seen. There's no reason with your skill set you cannot be an All-American here one day." I remember telling my teammates about the conversation on the bus ride home, and we all laughed and chuckled because it just didn't seem realistic for somebody in that program at that time to attain those honors. I guess Franz, who was a former All-American himself, knew something that I did not, so thank you, Franz. Looking back and deciding to play college soccer at Eastern was probably one of the best decisions I ever made. The 4 years in the program taught me so much about hard work, friendships, accountability, and representing a university first, and yourself and your teammates second. Other than our team not accomplishing what I thought we were good enough to accomplish, I have absolutely no regrets in my career here at Eastern as a student athlete. In closing, I want to thank you all for coming out one last time, and I'm sure I speak for all the inductees tonight when I say we are extremely proud and honored to be recognized by a university which gave us so much. Thank you.
Of the lacrosse program's current total of 16 All-America selections, 14 were named to the honorable mention team. Mark A. Digiovanni is the only second-team selection in program history, earning the honor as a junior and as a senior. At 5 foot 6 inches tall and 180 pounds, Mark was a magician with a stick in his hand, totaling 198 points on 117 goals and 81 assists in a 3-year career, helping the Warriors qualify for NCAA postseason play each year and to a combined overall record of 39 wins and 9 losses. With Mark, Eastern never lost a match on its home field and never lost a match in the Little East Conference. In addition to All-America recognition, Mark earned a multitude of additional institutional, conference, regional, and national honors. He was voted to the prestigious USILA Sticks National Senior All-Star Game and twice to the New England All-New England team. Moreover, the two-time team captain was voted first team All-Little East and ECAC All-New England in all 3 seasons.
It is an unbelievable honor to serve as presenter for Mark Digiovanni as he enters the Eastern Alumni Hall of Fame. Digger, first off, thank you for this opportunity. Putting all these words together got me excited and fired up at all the great times we had playing together. I was extremely nervous while I wrote this. I didn't want to mess this up as the person I'm about to speak of had a major impact on my life. Digger was actually the one who sold Coach McCarthy on giving me my shot as a freshman to be on the field, and I will always be indebted to him for that. The path Digger took to Eastern was non-traditional, to say the least, but it did fit the norm of the majority of Eastern lacrosse players in that era. To put it mildly, we were an interesting group of guys, but we were a team in every sense of the word. We all loved the game, loved our school, and loved playing for each other. Playing with Digger made me love the game of lacrosse more than I ever thought I could. Any chance I got to be on the field with him, I consider myself lucky. I even loved practice just because I got to play with him. Digger was just someone who made surrounding players better. He was someone you wanted to play for and play with. I personally never wanted to let him down. I knew I only had 2 years to play with one of the best lacrosse players I had ever seen and wanted to make it count. Digger was someone to whom I looked up to in so many ways, except literally, obviously. But be careful, do not judge him on his height, as he always had one of the biggest impacts on the field. Most players have 1 or maybe 2 things they do well. Some can shoot, some can dodge, some can feed. Then you have Digger, who could do it all. He was the complete player. After practicing with him for the first time, I wanted to be like him, wanted to play like him. It was like growing up hearing the I want to be like Mike commercials about Jordan, but I wanted to be like Mark. The way he played was beautiful, fluid like floating. He made everything he did look easy. So what did I do? I got the same triax shaft he had, the same evolution head with the monster mesh just like he had, with the pocket not too deep, just like Digger. I figured if my stick looked like his, the same magic could come out of it. I learned quickly, though, that it was in fact the magician, not the wand. Digger worked for his skills, though. He had natural ability, but he always worked hard and always put in extra time. I remember training with him time and again after practices on all sorts of things to gain a competitive advantage. I remember even one time we were trying alternative and unorthodox footwork while dodging, just to throw off defenders a bit. While I'm reading this, it doesn't sound like anything spectacular, but it was just another way Digger was trying to get ahead of his competition. He wasn't just the best player on the field physically, but mentally as well. His mental game was as tough to defend, if not harder, than his physical one. The most beautiful lacrosse goal I've ever seen was scored by Digger. If memory serves me correctly, we were playing UMass Boston. He was driving righty toward the goal from the top of the box. In one fluid motion, he went one-handed, behind the back, between the legs, and stung the ball into the upper left-hand corner of the net, all while being fully defended. It was an amazing sight. And while he was doing all of this, I was standing wide open on the backside of the crease for an easy layup goal, but I guess he decided that his move was the easier play. He might have been right. Nothing was more fun than playing our two-man game. The two of us behind the net with the ball was some of the most fun I've ever had playing lacrosse. It was cerebral. We became an extension of each other. We had defenders not knowing who had the ball, some would trip over the net, and some we had lying on the ground. These memories just make me smile. I haven't played with so many amazing lacrosse players both before and after Digger, but there was no experience that can match the 2 years I spent with him on the field. Diggs, this is truly well-deserved. Thank you again for letting me be a part of this. Congratulations to you, and congratulations to all tonight's honorees.
I remember the first day I met him, it was a guy that I kind of knew of from all the things that he did in high school and where he went to college and where he was recruited from. It was, actually quite an honor to walk the guy around campus and think about, oh, here's a guy who was like the #1 recruit in the country coming to, a program that was only 6 years in the making.
What makes Digger a special player is just his willpower to win. He just has it in him that he's going to be the best, and no one's going to be better than him. I've never really seen anything else like that.
I mean, a lot of us were kind of a different class of guys that came out. We were found kind of in different places. We started a little bit later in life, and I thought it might be a concern for him to come in from some of those programs. And we had a very tight bond, and like I said, a different kind of class of guy. And for my first year when I played with Digger, there was absolutely no issues with him fitting in.
Some of the skills that really impressed me about Digger was, first of all, his stick skills were just, they still are. They're unbelievable. You can't get the ball away from him. And also, like, his vision and his smarts of the game.
First time I saw Digger on the field, you could tell he was just a different talent, a different level of player. He was so quick, so speedy. He had right and left hands. I mean, you could try to take away one side, which was usually something you did with a Division III player, and Digger would just take it the other way and just absolutely rip the top of the net, going left-handed or right-handed.
I think it was a blessing for Eastern to get Digger. Just a guy like him coming to Eastern, puts a different name out for Eastern. He could have gone and played anywhere he wanted, for sure.
When Digger came in, I mean, he was a really, really good player, but I mean, we had other guys like Jeff Reinhardt and a few, Luke Williamson, and there are, many more, Kirk Blanger. I mean, there's so many good players that he came in with. He kind of meshed very well with all these guys. He realized, I don't have to put this program on my back. He definitely had a different outlook. That year when we went to school together, we were the at-large selection for the NCAA tournament. And I remember my mindset, I was just so happy to be recognized nationally. My thought process kind of ended there. We're here, we made it to the game, let's get into this game. Digger was thinking, 2-3 steps ahead. Okay, how are we gonna get past Springfield? Who's the next opponent? We're gonna go deeper into this. So he had a different mindset than a lot of us that kind of dug in and built the program through the first 6 years. He thought about where it could go for the next level and where to take it.
One of the best things about Digger is how good of a person he is. Like, he always puts other people in front of him. He wants everyone to be happy. He's just a good guy.
At this time, it is with my great pleasure that I present for induction into the Eastern Athletics Alumni Hall of Fame, Mark A. Digiovanni.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium Mark A. Digiovanni, presented by former Eastern teammate Brian Hebron. Congratulations. Come on up and
wow, that was certainly humbling, and point it down a little bit. Thanks. That was certainly humbling. I first want to thank President Nunez for taking the time to be here tonight and being a part of this wonderful event. It's really amazing, and thank you for being supportive of the athletic department here at Eastern Connecticut. That means a lot to us. In terms of other thanks I want to give to Lori, to Bullets, to Scott, thank you for putting together such a memorable night for all of us. I mean, this is really just a wonderful event, and it's an opportunity to celebrate some really great accomplishments, achievements of some great people that had some impacts at Eastern Connecticut and its athletic department. So I wanted to thank all of you for putting this together and doing such a great job. To Eastern Connecticut State University, I owe you such an indebted amount of gratitude and appreciation. My path here was not traditional. It was not intended. It was not planned. And you guys, when I say this, I mean this. You perform miracles here. This table that's sitting over right here, guys, you know, they're very well-to-do looking right now. They're really successful businessmen. They're fathers, they're coaches, they're leaders in their communities. But I guarantee you, if you saw a before picture of them 18 years ago, that confidence would not be instilled in the same manner and light. But I do mean that. This place performed miracles, and a lot of my teammates experienced that. But I have two experiences here, particularly that I'm so grateful for and indebted to, and I wanted to share them with you. The first one really came around the ability that the staff here had to successfully challenge me for the first time in my life to apply the same work ethic and commitment that I put towards sports to my academics. There's two individuals in particular, Dr. Prem Mann and the late Dr. Ken Parzik, both who challenged me and demanded my best academically, and I can't thank them enough for making that a part of my DNA and moving forward and all the success, or just the challenges that you face day to day. I really appreciate that. The second miracle that I experienced here was that prior to my arrival to Eastern, I was unable to physically play for almost 3 years. The love for the game and my first love of lacrosse had died. A lot of spirit had been taken out of me, and you guys reignited that passion. And you reunited me with my first love, which was lacrosse. So I want to thank you guys for those two miracles that I really didn't think that were that possible to happen at that time. I want to thank every single coach that ever took the opportunity to spend any time teaching me the game. I've been very, very fortunate, not by my own doing anything, but I got to be coached by some of the greatest minds that this sport has to offer. And two guys in particular that I want to thank. One, Rick McCarthy, who was my coach here at Eastern Connecticut, and one of my coaches in high school, Paul McNulty, who both conspired behind closed doors to get me to get back to continue my education, number one, but number two, to get back on the horse and play lacrosse again. And I want to thank both of them, because without them, I would not have come to Eastern, and my path would not have come this path. And I'm so grateful for that. I want to thank each and every one of the ECSU men's lacrosse community, and that goes from the training staff to managers. Doc Yo, I saw you here, and I'm so happy to see you. I saw you too much while I was here. Spent way too much time in that room, but I'm so appreciative of you being here. All the coaches, all the players. This is a team sport. Any success is shared. And I want to share real quickly about one particular individual, the guy sitting right here, Brian Hebron, who I have to tell you was a major part of reinstilling and reigniting that fire. It was such an honor to play with you, and truly, when I mean this, you made me a better player. And I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. Best 2 years I've had playing this game. Thank you. I also want to thank guys who preceded me. There's a couple of them sitting over here. John Rabano, guys like Michael Sabatora, Shannon Sligo, who's another Hall of Famer, Eddie Sheehan. You guys took this program from a club. This was literally a club program 6 years before I got there, into national prominence. It's amazing. And if you guys hadn't done that and shown that leadership and commitment, again, I would not have been here. And I really want to thank you. I want to share with you one quick reason why I love playing here so much. It was very unique compared to the other places that I played. When we arrived to a certain place, especially when we played some of the top teams in the country, they had no idea who we were. They had no respect for any of us. But I guarantee you, all the guys over there can sit there and say, the one thing I loved the most was after the end of the game, I could see it in their face of my opponents. They wanted to know what the hell just hit them and who were those guys. Those are the two things, and I know you guys can relate to that, so I want to thank you for that opportunity. I also want to thank my first team that I ever had, my family. And there's not enough room in this whole room for all of them, so we could only bring a couple of them here tonight. But Mom and Dad, thank you for all the time that you spent. My dad always said to me, there's nothing I can provide you financially or any other manner that will make up for the time I spent with you. And he always showed up to my games, was always there for dinner, everything else, and I appreciate that. And your commitment to Mom and my family is just amazing, and you're the best man I know. Thank you. Mom, you've always been there. And always supporting me through everything and all the injuries and all the times when I wanted to give up. Thank you. To my brothers, thank you for the bruises. It was really nice getting to learn from those guys. When we first moved to Connecticut, we didn't have a goal. We just put up a net against 2 trees and they shot the ball on me. And if I flinched, they'd punch me. My sister, who is one of my best friends, thank you. I love you so much for everything. You've always been there to support me. My wife and my kids. This is finally proof, besides like an x-ray or some surgical report, that I actually played sports. So someone, I hope you please recorded this so my kids knew that I did something athletic once in my life, because I don't think they're ever going to see this chance again. That being said, thank you everybody so much for a wonderful evening. To all the inductees, thank you guys. Wonderful to be here with you guys, and have a wonderful night.
Jennifer M. Ferrari Heinz was a 2-time All-New England Region and 2-time All-New England Coaches Association selection, and is one of only 4 4-time All-Little East Conference selections in program history. In 2001, Jen was the only freshman position player to earn first-team All-Little East honors when she was also voted as the conference's Rookie of the Year. Jen overcame a serious knee injury to gain first-team All-Little East recognition 3 times, culminating as the conference's Offensive Player of the Year as a senior. As the Little East Offensive Player of the Year, Jen scored 15 goals for the second time in her career, had a program record in Little East leading 13 assists, and conference leading 8 game-winning goals, and a career-high 43 points. With the team coming off a losing record in 2000, Jen helped the team to 13 wins as a freshman in 2001, and a record 15 wins in 2002, and another 15-win season in her senior year of 2004. Jen helped the program to 4 straight postseason tournament berths into the Little East Conference regular season and playoff championships as a junior. Jen remains the only player in program history to lead or share the team lead in goals in 4 consecutive years, or in points in 4 consecutive seasons.
Congratulations to all of the 2019 Hall of Fame inductees and their families, as well as to all the Hall of Fame members in attendance tonight. I first saw Jen playing club soccer as a junior in high school with the Rhode Island Rays, considered the best club soccer team in Rhode Island at that time in the late 90s, early 2000s. I saw her team play several times as a junior. Although I was initially interested in some of her teammates, Jen started to grow on me. She was scrappy, intense, aggressive, and we needed an athletic goal scorer. Jen's work ethic, speed, size, and ability to serve and shoot from distance really stood out. She always played with so much energy, played with urgency, and was tough. After contacting her and having her come to campus for a visit and meeting her parents, I found out she was the youngest of 3 children and that she had 2 older brothers. No wonder she played with such an edge. Jen was a program changer and a difference maker in the area of scoring goals, big important goals. She was interested in studying physical education and also was interested in attending Keene State College, at that time the best team in the Little East Conference. My recruiting pitch was that if you come to Eastern, you will be the difference and we will beat them. She did come to Eastern and did beat them, scoring against them in her first game and giving us our first win ever against Keene. To Jen, every day in practice was a championship game. She loved to compete, but more importantly, she loved to win. She played as hard in practice as most players play during big games. If you were on her team in practice, you loved her. If you played against her, you didn't like her. I had many conversations with Jen on how to carry herself. I probably talked with her about life skills more than any player I have ever coached. But I certainly didn't want to take the fight out of her because I loved her mentality, her work rate, and consistency. Every team wants positive team chemistry and continuity, and we were very talented, possibly the most talented and athletic group of players we've had at one time together at Eastern. I really enjoyed coaching her. Every team in sport needs players with her personality if they want to advance. Jen was a fierce competitor, a goal scorer, a big game goal scorer, a difference maker, and a program changer.
I've been associated with Eastern Athletics and the Eastern Women's Soccer Program for 33 years. And in that time, she certainly is one of the very top-rated athletes.
Jen was just a complete player. She came in right off the bat, scored goals in her first 3 career games. And from there, it was pretty much history. She finished second all-time in goals, second all-time in points. The only player we've ever had that has led the team in goals and points for 4 consecutive years. And she also set a record for assists with 13 one year.
Jen's accomplishments are truly remarkable in light that she sustained an ACL surgery on her right knee in the last game of her sophomore year and missed the last games remaining in the tournament of that year. My job as the athletic trainer was to deal with that injury and to rehabilitate her to return for the following fall. And what a pleasure that was to work with Jen in the rehabilitation process. Here you have a very fierce, very ferocious, very strong athlete who physically dominated the game, but as the athletic trainer, I saw daily her mental toughness and her resolution to return to be a top-notch player.
Jen Ferrari was probably the most competitive female athlete that I've ever been exposed to in 30 plus years at Eastern. And she's probably one of the most competitive athletes, period, that we've ever had. You know, we talk a lot about Hall of Famers, especially this year, being program changers, getting the program to the next level, and that was definitely Jen.
And she was just unusual to work with an athlete who had that determination and that focus. She's quiet, humble, but I want her in my foxhole. I want her to be with me when we have something tough to accomplish.
Hey Jen, it's Meg. I'm so sorry I couldn't make it up there to celebrate your great accomplishment, but I am so very proud of you and can't think of a more deserving person. You brought so much leadership to our team, not only on the field, but off the field as well. You always had that never fail mentality, and I think that's why we became such great friends. The determination and confidence you showed in last-minute game situations was always amazing. If we were ever down on the scoreboard, I think we all had the same thought: get the ball to Ferrari. The first time I met you, I remember thinking, wow, this girl means business, which just spoke volumes of the dedication you brought onto that field, whether it just be practice or a game. Not to mention all those records you set. So glad we got to play on the same team together. And way to represent women's soccer. Talk to you soon.
We had not had a lot of luck against Keene State before Jen had gotten here. And Jen's junior year, they beat us in the regular season 1-0 up there. And we both tied for the first place in the conference, but they got the tiebreaker based on them beating us. And then we went up there in one of the biggest wins in program history. We beat Keene on penalty kicks.
In addition to her on-the-field play, Jen was cited as an outstanding student and received 2 times the Scholar Athlete Award in both seasons of that eligibility.
You could just tell that Jen had great ideals, great work ethic, and it was just so obvious that she came from such a supportive family.
At this time, it is with great pleasure and deep emotion that I present for induction into the Eastern Athletics Alumni Hall of Fame, Jennifer M. Ferrari Heinz.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium Jennifer M. Ferrari Heinz, presented by women's soccer coach Kristen D'Ambrosio. Congratulations. Very impressed.
Good evening. I would first like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for putting together such a special evening and selecting me as a member of the ECSU Athletic Hall of Fame. This truly is an honor, and I am extremely delighted to be here celebrating this night with my entire family. I would also like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for all they do for the Eastern Connecticut State University Athletic Program, and I personally would like to thank them for all they did for me during my career here at Eastern. Throughout my teenage years, I had taken many trips around New England watching my brothers play college baseball. One attending Assumption College and one attending Stonehill College, I knew I wanted the same experience, to play for a competitive athletic program, but also staying somewhat close to home. As it came closer for me to attend college, I visited many schools. When I came to visit Eastern and met different people, I knew that these individuals would support me in the classroom and on the soccer field, and it is because of them my college experience was unforgettable. Coach D'Ambrosio, thank you for encouraging me to come to Eastern and pushing me when I needed it. I may not have been the easiest player to coach, but I appreciate your patience with me. Thank you for not only pushing me on the soccer field, but in the classroom as well. I strongly believe that your emphasis on academics, time management, organization, and being a responsible citizen truly molded me into who I am today. A bullet. Thank you for giving me a job experience that I will never forget. Being able to work for you for 4 years provided me with unforgettable friendships and experiences. In addition, I appreciate all of your advice. I can remember many times I would come in and talk to you about many different things, and you were always there to listen, guide me, and give me the best advice possible. You truly are an amazing asset to the Eastern community. As mentioned earlier, I suffered an ACL tear the last game of my sophomore year here at Eastern. Until that point, I never really had any serious injuries, so my family and I really didn't know what steps to take. It was at that time when Doc Yo met with my family and I to discuss my options. He did it with compassion while offering his professional insight and helped us fully understand what was to come. I do not think I would have been able to come back so strong and continue my career if it was not for Doc Yo. Next, I would like to thank my family, especially my parents. Growing up, my parents managed to balance their own jobs as well as get my brothers and I to all the places we needed to be. We never missed a practice or a game, and neither did they. Even in college, my parents and Aunt Marie attended all games, always supplying our teams with food, snacks, and drinks. Seeing this dedication from my family has inspired me to be the same way now that I am a wife and a mother. I tried to provide my own children with as many opportunities as possible, just like my family did for me. Being able to balance all of their activities and schedules clearly would not be possible without the two of you. Jonathan and Christopher are extremely lucky to have you both so active in their lives. Paul and Pauline, I would also like to thank you for all you do for Jonathan and Christopher. They are extremely lucky to have two sets of grandparents so active in their lives who love them so much. Brian and David, I know we may not have had the best relationship growing up, but I think what we have now is pretty special. I don't think there are many siblings and their spouses who can say they have a relationship like the six of us. The fact that we can all get together in one house in New Hampshire and have so many laughs is pretty awesome. Finally, thank you both for showing me that being a successful student athlete was an achievable dream. Brendan, you were not around for my college soccer days, but sure have provided me with an incredible life after college. We always said when we had children we wanted them to experience as much as possible, and I think we have done a great job with that. Together we make a great team and always find new adventures for the boys to experience. The smile they show in just about all they do is such a rewarding feeling. I'm so thankful and blessed at the dedication, support, and love you give the boys and myself. Although I miss playing soccer tremendously, I look at the life I have now and I realize I am a better person, mother, and spouse because of my experiences here. Finally, if it was not for my time here at Eastern, my life after college would have been a much different one. The tools I was given, the people that I met, and the opportunities I experienced during my career here helped me to be the person I am today. My family, Coach D, Bullet, and Doc Yo, you were my role models, and I thank you for that. Thank you.
With the help of a solid supporting cast, Molly E. Rathbun returned Eastern softball to the national conversation, the Warriors qualifying for the NCAA National Tournament in 2010 after an 18-year hiatus, and followed that up with a second straight regional championship and national tournament berth in 2011. In an unrivaled 4-year career, Molly helped the Warriors win 83% of their games, 89% in the Little East Conference, qualify for 4 NCAA tournaments, and win 2 regional championships and 3 straight Little East regular season and tournament titles. On an individual basis, Molly is the program's only 4-time All-America selection and was also a 3-time Little East Pitcher of the Year. She was twice named ECAC New England Pitcher of the Year and in balloting by the New England Coaches Association, was selected Player of the Year as a sophomore and Pitcher of the Year as a senior. A two-time LEC Tournament MVP and Eastern's three-time Female Athlete of the Year, Molly won 103 games and saved 14 more against only 14 losses, with 1,130 strikeouts, 94 complete games, 49 shutouts, 9 no-hitters, and a 0.88 ERA.
It is an honor and a privilege to speak about Molly Rothman. Molly was a phenomenal player and teammate, but an even better person. Molly holds many records and has won many championships, but she would tell you that her time at Eastern was more about the experience and making memories with her teammates. Leave the program better than you found it was our motto. Molly took that to heart and left it impossible to replicate in the coming years. When I first started recruiting Molly, she was a shy, reserved, not to mention very humble person. But I knew that she would be a program changer with her skill level and competitive drive. She was confident, competitive, coachable, and most importantly, the hardest worker on the team. She would buy into the win philosophy and made it her mission to throw one pitch at a time and take each at-bat as if it was her last, which propelled her into being honored as a four-time NFCA All-American player. I could tell you all about Molly's accolades and what she accomplished as a student athlete, but that's not Molly. She would want me to share stories of her legacy as part of the Eastern softball team. Here are just a few. Plymouth State, 28 degrees, tied in the 7th inning. Molly comes to bat, and I say, Molly, please finish this. Nobody can feel their hands, feet, face. Molly proceeded to launch a 300-foot home run. Ball game. Lily's Conference Tournament at Keene State. Score 0-0 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Molly is up. Keene coach goes out to talk to the pitcher. When play resumes, Molly hits a towering walk-off home run over the scoreboard in center field. Why they pitched to her, I have no idea. Playing Coast Guard at home in an elimination game of the NCAA Regional Tournament, a battle of two All-American pitchers. We are trailing in the late innings. Molly is up with bases loaded. I call timeout, explain to Molly that this is what she has worked for 4 years, to be in this moment and make a statement. Oh boy, did she make a statement. Launching a grand slam off the leading strikeout pitcher in the country that towered over the trees in left field. We were off to a regional final. And finally, Tufts. We had lost to them in Florida in the second game of the season. Molly decided she didn't like that and pitched a perfect game in the mid-season that was part of a 40-game win streak. We went on to host the NCAA Regionals, which involved 3 All-American pitchers. This was Molly's senior year. The team wanted so badly to win a national championship, but we lost to Tufts in the regional final. We sat in left field for about 3 hours crying our eyes out because we had such a close-knit team and we came up a little short. After many victories and championships, Molly would say it was because of her team, and she could not have done it without them. Molly also had a great support from her family, Mom, Dad, Emma, and Annie. They were always there to cheer her on and the team to victory. My proudest moment came when Molly was named head coach at Muhlenberg College 3 years ago. Now I'm beyond excited that she is moving back to Connecticut to serve as the head coach of Trinity College, which is so lucky to have her as a coach and mentor.
She's a program changer. That's what Molly is. She's the kind of player that every coach wants, and if you want to be successful, you need someone with her talents and her skills. But more that Molly had to offer was the way that she molded the culture of that team.
Watching Molly play and pitch specifically, she had such a confident demeanor. She stood on the mound and she knew what she wanted to do. She knew what pitch she wanted to throw, she knew how she wanted to attack a batter, and from there, playing defense behind her just made it that much more fun.
Pitching has changed in the last 30 years since I played, and I think the pitchers back then, threw a lot of speed and power that way, but there weren't a lot of screwballs or curveballs or things like that. Molly has a lot of those tools in her tool belt.
For me, the best game that Molly ever pitched was a game that she pitched. She just didn't throw. We were in the World Series for sophomore year against DePaul, nationally ranked team, and Molly did not strike out a batter in that game. In that game, 21 batters up, not a strikeout, trusted her defense. Her defense was a very good defense and came through for her.
She wanted the team to be as successful as possible, and that's why she worked so hard.
Early in Molly's career, I know she battled some injuries, especially her freshman year, and she still went out there and grabbed the ball and tried to pitch as much as possible.
She always expected greatness from herself, and from that, she was a great role model, and she led by example.
When you get a player of that caliber who has that thought process, you just can't go wrong, and you're going to be successful like we were and like she was.
When she got on the mound, she even wore the Warrior paint to like help with her personality. It's like she became someone else.
The other thing that really impressed me was watching Molly hit. That I hadn't read about, that I didn't know, and you could tell just the way she swung the bat and the way she carried herself in the batter's box that this was a two-way athlete.
She could hit anything. She was fun to watch. She was confident, just like she was on the mound, and that rubbed off on the rest of our entire offense as well.
She was a fantastic hitter, and that put her in a whole nother category.
The second time that I remember Molly really being an effective hitter, we were hosting regionals. Molly stepped up to the box, and at the time, I believe it was the top of the fifth, the score was 0-0. We had Molly, who was our All-American pitcher, and Coast Guard also had their All-American pitcher, Haley Findell. So bases were loaded. I luckily was on second base. There were 2 outs. Molly steps up to face Haley Findell. Findell pitches right down the middle, and Molly jacks a grand slam to left field.
Don't throw Molly the same pitch twice. Let her see it, and the next time she's gonna crush it.
At this time, it is with great pleasure that I present for induction to the Eastern Athletic Alumni Hall of Fame, Molly E. Rathbun.
Please welcome to the podium Molly E. Rathbun, presented by softball coach Diana Pepin. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Wow. Thank you. That brought back some fun memories, some terrible pictures, but great memories. That was fun. I first want to thank the Hall of Fame committee, and especially Smitty and Bullet. This is such a great honor, and everyone tonight making this event possible, thank you so much. I also want to say a big congratulations to the other inductees this evening. When I think about Eastern softball, I think of 2 things, tradition and family. Being a part of this program means forgetting about yourself and putting the needs of the team first. When you put that uniform on, you wear it thinking about those who have worn it before you and who will wear it after you. You take pride and honor in playing for something bigger than yourself. But my favorite thing about this program is the Warrior Nation that you're welcomed into. Eastern softball truly is my second family, and I take an immense amount of pride in being a part of it. This is also why I feel like this honor is not mine alone, but one I share with those that came before me, who played beside me, and those who continue to carry the torch in today's program. Because without them and what this program is all about, I would not have been the player that I was. I think back to when I was being recruited by Coach Pepin, and there's really one memory that sticks out to me. She asked me what my athletic goals were and what I wanted to accomplish during my time as a Warrior. Pretty simple question. But when she asked me that, I shyly told her I just wanted to be successful. Literally, those were my words. And she looked at me like she has many times over the years with that furrowed brow and said, "That's it? Do you want to be a good player? Do you want to be an All-American?" I didn't even fully understand what an All-American was at that point, but I knew she was intent on me saying that was what I wanted, so I did. What I didn't realize until sometime after that conversation was that Coach saw something in me that I didn't even know was a possibility. She believed in me before I even believed in myself, as a player and now as a head coach of my own program. So Coach, although 2 words don't feel like enough, thank you. Along with Coach Pepin, there's many individuals along the way who positively influenced me during my career and still continue to support me to this day. I want to say thank you to the whole athletics department and support staff at Eastern, especially a special shout out to the trainers too. I definitely spent just as many hours in the training room as I did at practice, unfortunately. But it really created a home away from home for me, and I really appreciate that. To my coaches, Pete and Tammy, thank you for empowering me to reach new heights. I feel so lucky to not only call you my coaches, but now my friends. To my teammates, some of them who are here tonight, please know, I knew I would get emotional at this part. Please know I would not have been the pitcher I was or the person I am now without you by my side. Sorry. I am forever indebted to your friendship, loyalty, and of course your ability to put runs on the board and support me on defense.
And I can't forget the one true warrior, Coach Clyde Washburn, who I wish could be here tonight. I know he's here in spirit. The definition of a warrior is a brave and experienced soldier or fighter. And Coach Clyde exemplified that definition every day as he pioneered the program that changed my life. All of these individuals, along with my experience as a student athlete, propelled me to give back to the game that gave me so much. Now, every day, I wake up and go to work, and I hope to impact the young women that I work with the same way you all did for me. To my husband, Bill, you may not have known me during my Eastern days, but thank you for listening to all the stories with a smile on your face, and for accepting the fact that when you married me, you married the rest of my crazy warrior family, which you absolutely saw at the wedding. To my sisters, Emma and Annie, thank you for never wavering in your support. I take so much comfort in knowing I can always count on you both. Mom and Dad, saved you for last. There aren't enough words in the English language to depict my love and gratitude for you both. You did whatever it took for me to follow my dreams, and there's no way I could ever thank you enough. Sorry. In more ways than one, Eastern softball's impacted my life. It brought me to a career I didn't even know I wanted, friendships that will withstand the test of time, and memories I will cherish forever, and a sense of belonging to something so much greater than myself. I am beyond proud to say that I am a warrior, and I am humbled to be cemented into Eastern athletics history. Thank you.
It is rare for an individual to merit induction into the Eastern Athletic Hall of Fame based solely upon a 2-year career. A utility player in the baseball program in the early 1990s, Michael T Suse is one of those rare individuals. Mike had a major impact on the baseball program after transferring to Eastern as a junior, batting .379, 10th highest all time, as a designated hitter in winning 10 games as a starting pitcher in 15 starts. Mike earned first-team All-New England recognition in each year and was a second-team ABCA All-America as a senior in 1993. Pitching with a fractured right wrist in the national tournament in the final start of his career, the right-hander submitted what is generally agreed upon as one of the most significant postseason pitching performances in program history. The 5'9" 185-pounder matched his career high with 11 strikeouts in a complete game, 6-hit, 1-0 win, handing Cal Lutheran its first shutout in 164 games.
Hello, my name is Tony Suse, and along with my brother John, we're here to speak on behalf of our brother Michael as he is inducted into the Eastern Connecticut State University Athletic Alumni Hall of Fame. Induction into this Hall of Fame is an honor that Mike has anxiously waited for a number of years. I'm not sure how to completely characterize Mike as a ball player, but I guess I would say that he was a competitor, someone who played hard and someone who wanted to win more than anything. And as many people know, he was quite successful at that.
My brother Michael and I will always be connected through baseball. As my older brother Anthony speaks of, Mike was much younger than us. So we got to have a chance in creating a baseball player who would someday make us all very proud of his accomplishments. And today's honor is the culmination of a lifetime of hard work. It's because of Mike that I am a baseball coach. Working with him when he was a youngster sparked my interest in the profession. I would rather take him to the park, hit him endless pop-ups or ground balls, and throw him batting practice than play a game myself. He was always willing and always wanted to improve. Mike has always had the drive and desire to be great. My brother Tony and I may have lit the fuse, but Mike did all the work. When he got to the age when he could begin lifting weights, we urged him to do so. To this day, even for an old man, he has an impressive build. Jokingly, I brag on how we are one of the best brother home run combinations in the history of Waterford High School. Mike hit 30, I had 1. Thanks, Mike.
Growing up, Mike won at every level. As a 12-year-old, his Little League team was undefeated. He was part of a state championship 13-year-old Babe Ruth All-Star team. As a 15-year-old, through his pitching, hitting, and hard play, he led his Babe Ruth team to a championship. While other teams in the league were loaded with all-stars, Mike's team had, to put it nicely, very average talent. During his summers, he was fortunate to be part of an outstanding New London American Legion program that won 3 straight zone championships and 1 state title while he was there. Mike played hard, and he played all the time. His final start on the mound as a Warrior in an elimination game of the College World Series has been well documented. On the plane to Battle Creek, Michigan, Mike's injured wrist became severely swollen, which prevented him from pitching the World Series opener. On the morning of the elimination game, he went to Coach Holowati and demanded the ball. And every inning he ran out of the dugout to the mound before Coach could ask him if he could keep going. He was not coming out of that game.
For Mike, all of his accomplishments would mean nothing if he could not share them with his family and friends. This is what is most important to him. He had the support of the best parents in the world who followed him coast to coast, never missing a game. He had the brothers' support who pushed him to be the best, in part so we could brag of his accomplishments. He could have taken many paths in baseball all over the country, but it is here in his home state and hometown where he wants to be surrounded by the people who love him and support him. For tonight's honor, I thank you on behalf of the people who love him, and it's the perfect ending to a great story.
His competitive attitude was very contagious. You put Joe Finaro and Mike Suse in the same dugout, okay, they don't accept losing.
Yeah, Mike and I came to Eastern the same year. I was a freshman, he was a junior. But the first time I ever heard the name Mike Suse was we were playing in the '89 Legion tournament. Hamden was playing New London in the state finals, and they were the team to beat. You know, they had some really good guys on that team. We had 11 guys, but one of them happened to be Scott Burrell. So he was kind of the cog in our wheel, and we came kind of in as the underdogs, and we played our game. But I do remember Mike, you know, being a short, stocky guy, really good player. You know, he threw hard and he hit really well. So it I wasn't surprised to see him transition like that at Eastern.
Michael was a vicious competitor, and he loved those positions. And he functioned in them very well. Some kids don't function in those positions well, and he did.
Mike was a gamer. Mike would go at you with 100%. You know, he would on both sides of the field, whether it was on the mound or at the plate hitting. He never wanted to get beat, and he wasn't going to get beat. So he just grinded out. He was a gamer, and he was a competitor.
Well, Mike was a player that we needed to make us a national level team back in the 90s, and after we won it in 90, we had a lot of great ball players there, and a lot of those guys graduated and went on, and he came here and did a very, very nice job, and he made our team better by his pitching and by his hitting.
He's a great teammate, great guy. He's always joking around, but when it came time to strap it on and get in the game time session, he was very serious.
Mike pitched a key game in the regionals. Mike all year long led us in hitting, and he stood up at prime time.
Mike was the MVP his last year in the regionals. He had 4 RBIs with a home run against Brandeis from the plate, and then the next day he came back and pitched a 2-hitter against Dartmouth. I mean, that just goes to show you the type of player that Mike is. He does it from both sides of on both sides of the field, from the pitching and hitting. And then again in the World Series against Cal Lutheran, we won 1-0. He got into some trouble in that game, but worked himself out of it. You know, he walked the first 3 batters in the first inning, then struck the next 3 guys out to get out of the inning. And doing all that with a broken hand. I think he broke his hand sometime between the regionals or not. And Mike pitched 3 consecutive complete games in his career, and they were the last 3 games that he's ever pitched. So I mean, it just goes to show you when it came to crunch time, Mike was always there and lifted us up.
If it wasn't for Michael, we wouldn't have gone to the World Series. We certainly had Joe Finaro and other complementary ball players. But Mike gave you that different player that could hit and could be a primetime pitcher. And he did that for us.
At this time, I'd like to take great honor in presenting for induction into Eastern's Athletic Alumni Hall of Fame, our brother, Michael Suse.
Please welcome to the podium, Michael T Suse, inductee, presented by brothers John and Tony Suse. And unfortunately, John wasn't able to be here this evening, but Tony is here to present. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you. Oh boy. Kind of going after Molly. Boy, why'd you guys put Molly right in front of me? Thanks a lot. I really appreciate that, Smitty and Bullet. I appreciate that. That's impressive. Oh, everybody is impressive, but I'm not a speech writer. I'm a baseball coach. I've been doing it now for over 20 years. And some of the best things I've ever said are things that just come off the top of my head. So you're going to bear with me. It's either going to be the greatest thing in the world and you're going to clap, or you're going to look at me with glazed eyes and go, what the heck did he just do for the last 25 minutes? And I apologize that I'm the last one and the food might get a little cold. But asking me to keep this to 3 minutes is like also asking me not to use my hands. As us Italian men know, it's going to happen. It's going to fly around and it's going to do a lot of things. First of all, I just want to thank the Athletic Alumni Hall of Fame Committee for this incredible honor. Mark, Molly, Jen, and Kyle, and all the other past inductees walking through that room a couple minutes ago. It is truly an honor to be recognized here tonight and forever and standing on that wall with the best athletes in Eastern Connecticut State University history. Thank you very much. This is going to be a little difficult because there's a lot of thanks, there's a lot of support out there. But if you can bear with me a little bit, you're not going to be able to see, I won't be able to see them as much because I got this bright light, and I'm sorry about the shine off my head. But can the people who are here to support me tonight please raise your hand? They're all over in that corner, everybody. That is the reason why I am standing here tonight, the man, the baseball player, and the person that has been recognized here tonight. So can you please give them a round of applause? Baseball is my life. If somebody says my name, the first thing they think about is baseball. It's been a curse sometimes, but it's also been a blessing. I was never, ever the best player growing up. I had 4 or 5 kids and friends growing up in my hometown that were better than me. And every year, watching them all state, all this, all that, or all stars, just pushed me harder and harder every day to be better. I called them over the last couple of days and thanked them, and each one of them with a little bit of a flex in their voice like mine is tonight, because I'm a little emotional, and you'll know as the speech goes on why I'm a little emotional tonight. They were just impressed that I called them to thank them. But that's what makes great players and great people, is the people around them pushing them every day. And I've had that, thank God, because I would not be here today if it wasn't for the support that I've had for those people that are here tonight, that couldn't be with me, and the people that are no longer here with us. To my friends who are here, I can't name everybody, and I would love to, but I've had friends since I've known since 5 years old. I've had friends who helped me get through college. And I've had friends who had to sit in hour-long car rides with me and analyze pitch by pitch, at bat, of every swing that I took in that previous game that we played together in the Twilight League. So to all my friends, I want to thank you very much. Everybody says they have great friends, and I do also. So thank you guys who are here tonight. To my teammates, I would never be here, of course, without the support of them. My path to Eastern Connecticut State University was a different one. I started at the University of New Haven, which is a rival, and you can boo if you want, it's fine. I went there first, and I got recruited to come here to Eastern, and I just decided to go to New Haven. Didn't really like the school, had a little trouble academically, so I ended up going and leaving after a semester, and ended up going to Mitchell College for 1.5 years, where I played 1 year. Showed up the spring semester of '92 in the winter, And the first, I would say, culmination of my baseball career here at Eastern was the great Coach Holowati bringing the team together and looking around at 65 guys who don't know me very well and saying, Mike Suse is not God. He is not going to take us to the promised land. You all need to play hard. You all need to. And I am now turned around looking at 65 guys who I barely know, and they are staring me down. Let me tell you, that winter workout to get ready for the spring season was probably some of the toughest at-bats I've ever had in my life, because every pitcher went at me with everything they had, struck me out, and they looked at me, they glared at me, but just thanks, Coach, for that. I appreciate it, but that's my little story about my path here to Eastern Connecticut State University. To my family, I've got I'm fortunate enough to have two families. I've got my immediate family, and then my second family lives across the street. My second father, my second mother, and my two other brothers. That was the greatest thing growing up as a kid, because I had four brothers. My cousin Scott, my cousin Tommy, who always had my back, whether it was physically or spiritually. I love you guys. Thank you very much for being here tonight. To my auntie Dot, my godmother, who always had an open door for me, who always had a meal if I needed it. If I needed to get away, the door was always open, and the love and support that I've gotten from her over the years, and my middle name, which I'm so proud to have, Thomas, after my godfather. So thank you very much, and I thank you all for sharing your dad with me. To my Uncle Tom, who can't be with us here tonight, he has passed away, and he was that guy that helped me in so many ways, whether it was oil in my glove, whether it was after a pitching performance, he would rub me down and talk to me about what I did and how the game went, and he'd also give me a little scolding if I went over too many pitches. And Coach Holowati, after that 156 pitch game at Cal Lutheran, he wasn't too happy with you. So, but I really wish, I know he's here with me in spirit. I wish he was here right next to me. And I just want to say, you guys, thank you very much for sharing your dad with me. I love him very much, and I miss him. To my nieces and nephews over in the corner, Zach, Brett, Garrett, Lauren, and Alyssa, it's been a true honor and a privilege to watch you grow up. Thank you very much for letting me be part of your lives. And Uncle couldn't be prouder of the five of you and how you've grown up and the men and women you've become. Thank you. To my coaches, again, I've been a coach now for almost 20 years, and one of the jobs I'm at right now, I'm the head coach up the street at E.O. Smith High School. Been there 8 years. I got the job, I think, when I told the committee I wanted to be the impact person in these students' lives like I had growing up as coaches. The three coaches that I had a chance to play for over my career, my high school coach, who is no longer with us, Jerry Russo at Waterford High School, taught me how to love the game, just have fun, to enjoy it, to hit the 3-run home run. He loved batting practice, and he let us hit for 2 hours, and it was the greatest thing in the world. And we had great teams, and we won state championships. My Legion coach, as you saw some pictures and you heard a little bit about it, we played every day in the summer. They don't do that anymore. We played 65 to 70 games, and we were competitive and we were good. If you chose to play at New London Legion for Coach Jim O'Neill, you had to dedicate your summer to that. You didn't work, you didn't do anything, you played baseball. He taught me how to play the game mentally and physically every day to come to the ballpark and get ready. Thank you, Coach, wherever you are. I think I see you back there. Finally, to the man who got me here, Coach Holowati. Well, Coach Reed really got me here. He was sitting in the outfield a couple times when I was playing at Mitchell and going, come on, Suse, you're going to come. I'm sitting playing in left field like this, and Coach Reed is behind me going, Suse, you're going to come to Eastern now, aren't you? You're going to come to Eastern. I'm like, Coach, can I just finish the game first, and we'll talk? But Coach Holowati and I, we had a relationship that you would say, I call it oil and water. I wasn't the greatest practice player in the world, I'm not going to lie, and you heard from Joey. But when the lights turned on and I crossed that line, no one could beat me. And I played that way every day, or I tried that. people thought maybe, I thought too much about the stats or what I was doing or anything like that. If anybody ever thought that, they're dead wrong. The only thing I ever wanted to do was win. And if I couldn't help the team win and we lost and I was hitting third or I was pitching and something happened, then I took that very serious. And I beat myself up all night. No one wanted to be around me, and you certainly didn't want to talk to me after a game. But Coach taught us some valuable life lessons here. It's taking me almost 20 plus years to realize it, because we used to snicker and laugh about it and actually imitate him after practice. Coach's famous speech is always, I want you to be a good person, not just a good baseball player. I want you to be a productive member of society, and I want you to be a good person. And we used to go back to the dorms or Blarney's or wherever it was, and we would laugh and joke, and someone who was very good at imitating Coach would do it. And we'd all laugh and snicker and kind of get a good laugh at it, and we'd go on our merry way. But sitting here now being a coach, I understand what you mean, Coach, and I finally get it. Thank you very much for pushing me. Thank you very much for making me come back to Eastern to get my degree. It only took me 10 years, but I did it, and it's all because of you. You taught me that it's not about the wins and losses. It's about the relationships, and it's certainly about being a great person. That's, I think, what legends are made of, and thank you very much for that, Coach. I appreciate it. Again, I'm sorry. I know you want to eat, and it's been a long night, but now I got to do my immediate family. I'm so sorry. First, another minute? Okay. To my girlfriend, thank you very much. Bobby Joe coming in my life, thank you. You and Lincoln have made my life so much better. To my mother, who's over in the corner, what do you say about a mom who's been there every day, meal, open love, always at the game, probably lived and died with every pitch I ever made, and again, she probably, that 156 pitch game against Cal Lutheran, I'm sure kind of took many years off her life. To my brothers, Anthony and John. John can't be here tonight, he's sick. What do you say about a coach in the family who's pushed you and loved you and supported you? I got my older brother who did the same thing, coached me at a young age, pulled me out of the house every night to throw. Finally, my dad, who I'm dedicating this to tonight. My dad passed away about 6 years ago, and this was the last thing that we worked on together. I got tabled in April. We worked on the paperwork together. I wrote the little spiel about myself, and my dad and I worked on it together, and he ended up passing away in June. So I'm dedicating this to him. You saw some highlights of me. My dad lived my baseball career through a lens cap. How do you thank somebody for that? He traveled the world, but always seemed to get back, to watch my game, to be there for me. I miss him dearly. I know he's here in spirit. I wish he was here to see this, because baseball and me, when I finished and I didn't get drafted, I think it hurt him more than it hurt me. So I want to thank everybody tonight. I apologize I went over that minute, but I want to thank everybody. Congratulations again to all the inductees. Congratulations to all the young athletes from this year who received awards. You are the next people that are going to be up here. Congratulations. And there's one more thing. Some of you Italian guys are going to get this. There's one more thing I want to say to my dad up in heaven. Yo, Dad, I did it.
Hey everybody, wow, what a great night. As you can imagine, with an event that has as many moving parts as this evening has had, there's a plethora of people that I need to thank. The Eastern Sports Information Office would like to thank Lisa Hotaling from Media Services and her student assistants for contributing countless hours arranging, filming, producing, and editing the Hall of Fame induction videos that you saw this evening. Also, thanks to the presenters and guests who volunteered their time and expertise. all of whom traveled to Eastern Television Studio in the creation of these videos. Special thanks to the Director of Media Services, Nick Messina, who embedded the videos on the Hall of Fame website. Also, a special thanks to the crew at ETV Sports, who put together the 1-minute videos on each of our 2018-19 major award winners, Jack Petrucci, Emily St. Lawrence, and Dom Conti. And thanks to the student athletes who provided the voiceovers on those videos. Now I'd like to ask our Mistress of Ceremonies, Bonnie Edmondson, to come to the podium to receive a small token of our appreciation for everything she's done for us this evening. On behalf of the Hall of Fame Committee, I'd like to thank Megan Carden from Institutional Advancement for helping with the event. Ken DeLisa and Kevin Paquin were responsible for creating the new Hall of Fame logo and updating our banners. I think they look pretty good. I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you for the work that the Hall of Fame Committee puts into this evening, especially our chair, Scott Smith. Tonight is truly a love of labor for the committee, and I think it shows. Thank you.